Marilyn Monroe was a silver screen legend who today remains as iconic as ever, but those who were close to her didn't see her in the same way the public did. James Dougherty married Marilyn Monroe in 1942. She was just 16 at the time and still going by her baptized name, Norma Jean Baker. The relationship was a way out of a difficult childhood, spent in orphanages and passed around by various relatives, including some who sexually abused her. While the future movie star filed for divorce just over 4 years later, Dougherty would forever be connected with her and asked about her endlessly. Even his obituary in the Los Angeles Times is mostly quotes of things he'd said about her over the years, and the headline makes clear why a former police officer's death made the paper. James Dougherty, 84, was married to Marilyn Monroe before she became a star. To Dougherty's credit, he never pretended he knew the iconic version of Monroe. He almost always called his ex-wife Norma Jean when asked about her. He appeared on Larry King Live in 2002 and spoke about why their relationship fell apart. She became a movie actress, so she wanted to live together and maintain a relationship. And I told her, no, that I wanted a family. He swore he didn't hold a grudge over her leaving, though. As he explained, I thought it was wonderful that she was getting something that she wanted. And of course, Marilyn, I never knew. It's a shame that she had to give up half her life for that fame. I was very much in love with Norma Jean. The relationship between film star Marilyn Monroe and her second husband, sports star Joe DiMaggio, is often held up as a beautiful love story. But the reality is much more complicated. According to Joe and Marilyn, legends in love, many who knew DiMaggio have said how dangerously jealous he was of any man who was around Monroe. Some have claimed he hit and even stalked her. They would divorce after less than a year of marriage, though they remained good friends afterward. Many of DiMaggio's thoughts on his late ex-wife come from his talks with his podiatrist, Rock Positano, who recounted them at length in his book, Dinner with DiMaggio, Memories of an American Hero. DiMaggio was not shy about the recollections he shared with Positano, even when it came to his relationship with Monroe. When we got together in the bedroom, it was like the gods were fighting. There were thunderclouds and lightning above us. But the baseball player also saw the sad side of his wife's personality. He told Positano, Marilyn was a good kid, but she was a confused kid.
I think you're the saddest girl I ever met.
The first man never said that.
And while DiMaggio wanted children, Monroe knew her chances of having them were slim. Marilyn was hurt by her inability to have children. Hal Schaefer is not a household name today like most of Marilyn Monroe's exes, but it's possible he suffered more for his relationship with her than any other man. A musician and vocal coach in Hollywood in the 1950s, Schaefer originally met Monroe when he was hired to help her with her singing for the film Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. According to Goddess, The Secret Lives of Marilyn Monroe, she requested him as her vocal coach on several films after that. As Schaefer recalled, she stuck me as kind of fey, as not being all together in this world, not all there. She was quiet, didn't open up much. At first, she had no confidence, but she reacted to my teaching and she got better. She really became quite good. Spending so much time together eventually led to an intimate relationship, which was a problem since Monroe was married to Joe DiMaggio at the time. Schaefer found himself threatened, followed, and bugged as a way for DiMaggio's associates to get information on their relationship. The vocal coach ended up attempting suicide, after which Monroe nursed him back to health. But their relationship would not survive. As for why it happened in the first place, Schaefer explained, I think she regarded it as her function, being this great attractive female, that she was supposed to have sex with a man because that was something she could do, that she could give. Arthur Miller was already a famous playwright by the time he met Marilyn Monroe. Their marriage was her longest relationship, lasting 4.5 years before they divorced in 1961. She died the following year, and Miller spent a long time working out his demons connected to their time together. In 1964, he wrote his first play based on her, titled After the Fall. As Playbill reports, even at 87, he was still getting inspiration from Monroe. It was then that he wrote a play called Finishing the Picture, in which a Monroe-type woman is an important character who is never actually seen. As a talented writer, it's not surprising that Miller has some of the most beautiful quotes about Monroe. In Time Bends a Life, he wrote, "She was a poet on a street corner, trying to recite to a crowd pulling at her clothes." According to Marilyn Monroe, her film's her life, he fully believed in her talent, as he said when they were married. "I took her as a serious actress even before I met her. I think she's an adroit comedian, but I also think she might turn into the greatest tragic actress that can be imagined." But he also saw the worst of her demons, explaining via Frank and Marilyn the lives, the loves, and the fascinating relationship of Frank Sinatra and Marilyn Monroe. She was a very serious girl who was struggling against abandonment and abuse, against her family's fundamentalist religion. She was in rebellion and expected punishment.
Now don't worry about me.
Elia Kazan was the award-winning director of films including On the Waterfront, East of Eden, and A Streetcar Named Desire. However, his legacy was stained when he threw some of his fellow creatives under the bus in front of the House Un-American Activities Committee when it was trying to root out communists in Hollywood. This action was so controversial that when he received an honorary Oscar in 1999, hundreds protested outside the theater, and many in the audience stayed defiantly seated and didn't clap for him. Someone else who wasn't thrilled with Kazan, but for a totally different reason, was his first wife, Molly Day Thatcher. The two married in 1932, and Kazan had affairs several times, including with Marilyn Monroe. When the selected letters of Elia Kazan was published in 2014, the world learned how he explained the affair to Thatcher. While the letters read as pretty cruel to his wife, he was nicer about Monroe. Kazan explained, "She was talented, funny, vulnerable, helpless in awful pain, with no hope and some worth, and not a liar, not vicious, not catty, and with a history of orphanism that was killing to hear. She was like all Charlie Chaplin's heroines in one."